Market conditions remaining mildly bullish in this bull market, currently with a bull market rank of 20. Still working our way back down off of this really extreme range in this current bull market, and having some backing and filling, some ups and downs here along the way. Gaining some momentum here. We're seeing momentum increase almost back to that bullish trend. We're also seeing breadth, which is continuing to improve, but not significantly, not a massive breadth bounce in this last rally. The last few days, sentiment has continued to improve. If we look at the buy-sell ratio shifted back up just a little bit more, 1.86 from 1.7. So we're seeing just a little bit more improvement yesterday. Not a huge move on the markets yesterday. We are up above that 50% line on sentiment at 61.96. S&P 500, if we look at the major market indices, SPY, a couple of things could be happening here. Let me activate the fib levels. And we've got, we talked about this before, when we have these retracements, we've now broken back up above this resistance zone. So we'll see if we can hold even this area here, this entire 510 range. We could retrace back to that 510 range and potentially find some additional support there if we do pull back and retrace. If we break back down below that level, then we've got to watch that 510 for resistance. That's going to be an interesting pattern here in the next few days to keep your eye on, since there is a chance, even on this longer term chart on S&P 500, oftentimes you can see, at least in this last rally where we had this sell-off, we went red, we went yellow, and then we started to find resistance right here and it rolled back down. So what we want to be watching now is to see if if this move here counter trends back up, we go from yellow, kind of pause right here and can't attempt at those new highs, and then we start to see some red bars coming back down this other direction. That could be an indication of a little bit more to come here. We had a little bit more to come here. We didn't have much more to come on this one. On this one we did, but we were still kind of in that bear market. This was the last leg of that bear market. So as these trends will continue, these are the best chunks of the trends. Here, try and capture as much as we possibly can during those trends. And right now, it's just a matter of protecting capital and looking for position sizes going forward. So kind of a precarious area on the markets as a whole. That being said, we are finding strength, finding momentum to the upside. We're seeing that across the board here. Major market indices really didn't move a whole lot yesterday, as I mentioned. Here's what the Dow looked like, and that 384. All three are back up above this shorter-term momentum line, and that should provide some shorter-term support here as well. Sectors, let's take a look. We had a couple utilities and consumer goods back up to the buy, energy back to the sell. We've been watching that one there where we're seeing energy continuing to weaken. This is not the USO chart, just the energy ETF, and so we are seeing oil continuing to retrace. Let's jump over to commodities. Let's look at gold real quick. Some support trying to hold up there in this gold pattern where you've got this new low now. Now it's gap back up again and attempting to create a new low here. So if we can get that bottoming pattern and get a little bit momentum, gold may start to find some footing right here. And let's look at USO. USO continuing to weaken. 2 or 3 days of attempted support right here at these levels at this 382. It's almost attempting that 50% line. My guess is that's where it's going to want to head to try and find some real significant support. If it can't close up above that $75, $76 range, keep an eye on USO. It's oversold into that extreme range, and like I say, attempting to find some footing right here. We'll see if it can find it or not. Also bonds. Let's go back to bonds. I always skip that one as I'm going through these market indices, but it's really important right here. We're getting another small bounce in bonds as bonds are moving higher. Interest rates are moving lower. So this is an important chart on TLT to keep an eye on this pattern. Now it's shifted back out of that down momentum zone and shifting back up this kind of that hold. That hold pattern is kind of a transition. Is it transitioning to an uptrend, or is it just transitioning with a counter trend for more continuation to the downside? That's going to be interesting right here on TLT. Let's take a quick look at some muscle stocks out of this group today. Seeing MTC, pretty volatile tech stock, 44, a little bit too volatile for my taste. CLS, Nice looking pattern back up to that momentum zone. Big company, $5 billion in market cap, almost 2 million shares traded each day. Interesting trade there as well. They are in the supply chain industry. And another one here, VKTX. This is that weight loss stock dealing with this massive run up here and then just consolidating, just retracing now for several months and attempting to look like it wants to continue that overall uptrend, maybe an opportunity. Forgive me, but there may be an opportunity there for that trade as well. Lots of good stocks pulling up into that muscle stock group. Make sure you go through that scan thoroughly. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.